Welcome back to Idealist. You know America is good for big, powerful, and high-performance V8s. Screw those, because today we're covering some of the coolest cars from Freedomland that have crazy engines that don't have 8 cylinders. Starting with the one that might just be the greatest American car ever assembled. Let's go! And real quick, there's nothing like a little Huracan Performante V10 in the morning. Okay, if you've ever imagined yourself turning heads in a jaw-dropping supercar, you are in the right place. Sign up. Sign up for the Ideal Collective. Right now, it is completely free, and I've linked to it in the pinned first comment down below. And just by signing up, you'll be the first to know about the first Ideal car giveaway ever. Spots are limited, so sign up today. Again, it's in the pinned first comment. And now, back to the show. Ford GT. Now, we all remember the first gens, with the mid-engine Whipple supercharged V8s paying homage to the legendary Ford GT40 race cars from the early 1960s. And honestly, I really thought that they screwed up when the second gen did not come with 8 cylinders, but I've been proven wrong. Because by shoehorning a twin-turbo V6 into the GT, Ford showcased the capabilities of its EcoBoost technology. Yes, it had 647 horsepower, which is impressive from a compact power plant with virtually no turbo lag, and that smaller footprint of the V6 allowed Ford to optimize the design and aerodynamics of the GT. But more importantly, that technology in their Halo car was trickled down into their best-selling F-150 and more. In a world where big V8s are going away just as fast as manual transmissions, which if you want to snag our best-selling Ideal T, I'm excited that these companies are out there pushing the envelope with smaller, more efficient, more powerful engines. Dodge Viper. Oh, the Dodge Viper. The sleek, sexy, and oh so American sports car that has captured the hearts of gearheads everywhere. But did you know that it doesn't come with a V8? Well, you definitely should if you watch this channel, because let me tell you, the Viper doesn't need a V8 to be badass. Sure, with the 5th gen anyway, Dodge could have slapped in a Hellcat drivetrain, but there's just something so special about the naturally aspirated V10. Right, Trav? The Viper V10 is like a 10-piece nugget, but with sriracha instead of sweet and sour. It might not be traditional, but it's still damn delicious. And so the story goes, Dodge wasn't allowed to put a V8 engine in a sports car in the early 90s, allegedly because of restrictions that resulted from their government bailout years before. And the Ram's V10 was in development, but that would have been way too heavy. So the Dodge Bros, they stole some trade secrets from Lamborghini and bam! The all-new aluminum V10 was born. The Viper will always be a symbol of American ingenuity, power, and sex appeal, just like Trav. But nothing can take away from it, even if it doesn't come with a V8. But what about an American icon that doesn't have an engine, but rather a motor? Yes, of course, we're talking about the Tesla Roadster. Tesla Roadster. Now, while I'd love to talk to you about the concept Roadster that was launched in 2017, they haven't started production yet. But Tesla released their first car all the way back in 2008. The Roadster was one of the first viable modern-day electric cars. But shout out to the EV1 though, dude. Dude, get out of here. This is my show. Dude. The Roadster showed off instant torque and usable range all wrapped up in a sports car package. It really was a lot like nothing else, even if it was based on the Lotus Elise. It blended the environmental enthusiast and the driving enthusiast in a way that hasn't ever been recreated since. Unless Elon gets around to actually making the new Roadster. Now, it's certainly quick enough to make most American V8 powered cars blush, but there is this crazy guy on the internet who wanted the sound and reliability of an LS and the technology of a Tesla. So Rich Rebuilds LS swapped his Tesla Model S. What? But for this video, we're trying to stay away from the V8s, and the Tesla Roadster might just be the perfect car for the future. But what about a V12 from the past? Well, Vector thought the alternative to the V8 had to be a V12. Vector W12. the Vector W12, the top of the line from the wild American car company that never took no for an answer. See, the thing is, the engine in this thing is just as wild as it looks. The 6-liter Lamborghini V12 brings 2 turbos to the mix. Maximizing the crazy factor and obviously subtlety was not in the Vector's vocabulary. It's the automotive version of Steve-O back in the good old Jackass days. And the Vector W12 is so unique and bespoke that they only made 17 of them, and the company went out of business shortly thereafter. So, to all you V8 purists out there, the Vector W12 may not have a V8 engine, but it's got something even better, a personality all of its own. All of these cars so far have been expensive and exotic machines. So, what if you don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars, but you want a notable American car without a V8? Look no further than the fabulous four-banger Focus RS. Ford Focus RS. The Ford Focus RS isn't just your typical hot hatch. Oh no, the 2.3-liter 4-cylinder has the attitude of a pocket rocket on steroids. It pumps out a whopping 350 yoked horses, and it's paired with a trick all-wheel drive system that makes it capable of keeping up with the big dogs on the track. Now the Focus RS proves that you don't need a big ol' V8 to blast on the back roads. So next time you see a Ford Focus RS zooming by, don't dismiss it as just another compact car. Give it the respect that it deserves and appreciate the fact that Americans can still build a mean machine without relying solely on brute force alone. But if you're not really into hot hatches and want a sedan, you should look into one of Cadillac's Super 6s, Cadillac ATS-V and CT4V Blackwing. Now, you might be thinking it's a bummer that Cadillac ditched 2 cylinders, but the ATS-V and CT4V Blackwing are 2 of the greatest American super sedans of all time. While some think having a V8 between the fenders is like a badge of honor, these caddies beg to differ. Their twin-turbo V6s serve up smiles and spades. 60 comes in less than 4 seconds, and they've got handling that's sharper than the plastic trim on a Pontiac. These rockets are a force to be reckoned with. Their V6s are like the little engines that could, if the little engines were actually snarling turbocharged beasts. Don't underestimate these cars just because they're missing a few numbers in their names. They are both true American badasses, but so is our honorable mention, the Ford Falcon. Ford Falcon Barra i6. Our honorable mention is technically an American car, but it comes to us from down under. The Ford Falcon has some serious gumption. Sure, it might not have a V8, but it's got a Barra turbocharged inline-6 that's even more legendary than Vegemite toast. It was powerful out of the box, but the real key here is how tunable it is. The Falcon's got that classic Aussie style. Rugged, dependable, and a little rough around the edges. Kind of like Crocodile Dundee, but with wheels. Now, while we here in America didn't get lucky enough to get this version of the Falcon, it's legendary enough to get us to say g'day and mate a little more often. But our next legend has been around for 40 plus years, and it's gotten faster every single one of them. The Buick GNX. The Buick GNX, the car that proves you don't need a V8 to make a splash. You might be wondering how a car without a massive V8 could be so notable in the land of muscle cars and burnouts. But in the 80s, muscle cars unfortunately didn't really have much muscle. But the Buick brings it. The GNX has a turbocharged V6 that was developed with McLaren, and with more power than all of its V8 competition, its sleek and sinister black exterior, it looks like the Batmobile's cooler cousin. And speaking of cousins, you can't mention the old turbocharged V6 days of GM without mentioning these next ones. GMC Syclone Typhoon. What if I were to tell you in the year where Smells Like Teen Spirit was topping the charts, you could buy a Chevy truck or SUV that humiliated pretty much everything on the drag strip? That's right, these GMCs of the 90s were faster 0 to 60 than a Ferrari 348. And of course, they did it without having to use a big ol' V8. In fact, they had turbocharged V6 engines, which made them the world's fastest trucks for nearly 30 years. So whether you're hauling passengers or hauling the mail, these cars will do it all while hauling ass. But what if you want to go back to the future? Well, like our next car on this list, the Delorean DMC-12. Delorean DMC-12. First thing is first, let's get one thing straight. The Delorean DMC-12 has a freaking flux capacitor.
The flux capacitor.
But it also has a not so futuristic, anemic 130 horsepower V6. Now, it's cool to see guys like our boy Lamborghini tossing a 3.3 liter twin turbo into this futuristic style icon and get this thing to 88 miles per hour real quick. Yes, it puts down 487 horsepower to the rear wheels from a Turbo 6, when most guys would just opt for the lame LS swap. like everyone else. And so why that gets guys like me excited is that these smaller turbocharged power plants are the future of engine swaps. So it's awesome to see them already being done in a car that everything but the power plant was futuristic. Ford Taurus SHO. For starters, the engine was developed and manufactured by Yamaha, the powerhouse of pianos and keyboards. So how does a music company build a rocket ship of a V6? Well, if you've already liked and subscribed to this video, go check out the story of Yamaha right up here, because it will show you that this SHO punches way above its weight, with plenty of power and handling to boot. 2 seconds behind the wheel will show off its precise poise. This thing corners like no 90s American sedan has any right to, with finesse and agility. The Taurus SHO is like the Karate Kid of the automotive world, using speed and precision to take down its opponents. The next car on this list fought the competition with its design, the Plymouth Prowler. Now, when it comes to the Plymouth Prowler, no, it does not come with a crazy engine. It's crazy it came with such a lame engine. Yes, it got a V6 from a Dodge Intrepid. In a hot rod that was supposed to pay homage to badass 32 Ford hot rods, this thing was just a lethargic, lame excuse for a power plant and an instant retro failure. Now, no wonder Plymouth is now dead, because this thing needed a big old V8 in it. So there you have it, some of the most notable American cars without a V8. Let us know if you're lucky enough to have driven any one of these beasts. And give us a like and also subscribe if you're new here. And check out this Ideal video up here or whatever YouTube recommends you watch down here. I'm Brad, this is Ideal, and promise me one thing, keep living the Ideal lifestyle.